Hey there everyone, this is Yui. Welcome to episode 7 of Enigmatica to Expert Skyblock. Today is going to be a little different. We're going to talk about optimizing. So let's get to it. So we are playing on a server. There are a number of people on at any time. And our tick rate lately, we do forge TPS, has been abysmal. Right now it's 20, which is good. Usually it's not. So every day I go around and I check stuff and try to optimize some things. So that's what this episode is going to be about. Now, what I am using for this is lag goggles. The default key is insert. Once you install it, it looks like this. If you push the key, and it will check the world and frames. So there's a difference between ticks per second and your frames per second. Frames per second is client side, ticks per second is server side. Lag goggles will work on the client, the server, or both. So if you're playing in a single player world, feel free to add it. If you're playing on a server, you can add it, but you can't check ticks per second if it's not on both the server and client. But it's one of those mods you can just add and it won't break anything usually. So here's what I'm going to show you. It's just a few instances I found. Mainly these stupid hoppers. Hoppers combined with drawers and various other things. So I have a ton of drawers here full of cobble. And these drawers down here are cobble. So basically, in Minecraft, when you try to overfill... Actually here, you know what? No. Let's do a baseline check first. Take this off, take that out. And you're empty? Yep. So here's what you would do. You would hit insert or whatever key you set it to. You would hit profile. If you want to see the server, you hit world. If you want to see your client frames per second, you hit the FPS. Hit it. Sit still for 30 seconds. Now what I will say is during this screen, don't Alt-Tab. If you Alt-Tab, you might run into render issues causing your game to crash. So just be patient for 30 seconds and don't do anything. It is a little boring, but you know, it's a necessity. And boom. Okay, so when you finish, it'll highlight blocks around the world. If you are doing FPS, it will be whatever is in your field of view. So if you're facing this way, it'll be whatever you can see on the screen. It will not do stuff behind you because they're not in render distance. So you might have to run FPS multiple times looking at various parts of your base. Ticks, however, you can run it once and you can see the list everywhere. If you go to Analyze Results, it'll give you a what looks to be a dangerous look at these. What the heck is this recycler doing? That is very bad. Oh, see, this is why we've been having problems. Occasionally there's a block or two that just goes, oh, yep, let me use a couple thousand microseconds, and yeah. No, you can't do that. So, as you can see, this hopper here, 26 mu for micro, I imagine. Could be wrong, but I think it's I don't know what it is. It's small, but it adds up. So everything you see highlighted has it. Everything you see with a number has it. So this isn't highlighted, but it has a number. So this is taking ticks just by existing. So what if we say, well, let's turn this off for a second. Now if we fill all these up with cobble, and this one here, and this one here, and then everyone gets their own drawer to try to fill in even more. Alright, so let's do a quick check. So here's the last results. So you'll notice like this controller here for our XNet is 2. These ones are 2. This is like 12-ish. And this is the highest one at 26. Then 12 and 4. Yeah. So if we hide that, we'll just do another scan. Alright, and there you go. So just by trying to overfill inventories, look at this one. This one jumped up to 849, which should now be number 2 on the list. Because of that stupid recycler, I have no idea what it's doing, but that's bad. So when you get a ton of these going, this one's not as bad, but it's still pretty bad. These are okay. This is not really any different. It's a little more, because I guess it's checking this inventory as well now. This one jumped up. This one gets, the controller will get really bad with certain things, and I'll show you an example in a little bit. This one didn't really change. So when you are setting up your automation, double check some of these things just to make sure that you're not thoroughly destroying the server. For your single player world, it applies there just as much. So I'm going to tear these down, and I'll bring you to an example that we have already on the server. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, now we're in our noisy compact machine here. So I've disabled the slightly better fix. Over here is the controller for XNet. And I've already just ran the scan, so if you go show latest, you'll see that it's up to almost 500. And it'll vary. It can go pretty high sometimes. But this is an example of a bad one. If we just hide that. The way I've been fixing these is using the sensor channel. Right here. I will re-enable it and go back to extracting from, where was it? Right here. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the sensor channel, it's basically conditionals. Hang on. This is... Let's just drop that down for now. That's too noisy. Anyways, they're conditionals. So what this is saying is check to see if the items inside of this machine, this recycler, this item, since we are recycling chisel bits of water, make sure it is less than or equal to 32. If it is, output this color. And they're all saying the same thing. So basically, if any of them are less than 32, it'll output the color. Now with that, what you can do is you can go to, say, where you're extracting the items, and you can say, oh, only do it when you see this color combination. Black is disabled, and any other color is good to go. So for this case, we're just saying only blue. If you ever get blue, go ahead and run this. And so that means when it gets down, it'll drop all the way down to 32. Well, one of them will. When one of them drops, it fills them all up. So that means it runs a little better because it's not constantly trying to overfill the inventory. Oh. So if we just run this again. And there we go. So this was at 430, now it's down to about 140. So keep stuff like that in mind when you're setting stuff up. Feel free to constantly check it. The other thing I'll show you real quick is, let me hop out and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so actually two more things. The ranged collectors from Actual Editions, when they are full and trying to pick up items, I've noticed that they cause a good amount of lag as well. And same with the Stonework Factory. So if possible, only activate your Stonework Factories when you actually need them instead of leaving them running all the time. Even if they're seemingly not running, but they're told to run, they are using a decent amount of ticks per second. And it adds up if you have a lot of them, especially on a server where everyone needs at least one of them. Anyways, what I did was I came on this tree, I did my profile, and I did FPS this time. So, like I said before, if I show it, you'll start seeing, it'll be hard to see from here, but you'll see little numbers, red tags over there. Once again, you can go in this menu, analyze results, and you'll see the stuff like armor stands are apparently very bad for FPS. But it'll give you numbers associated to everything, so feel free to go check your surroundings. Like, this is not doing squat, but it's using 207. Similarly, like, conduits do that. Opaque item ducts, or not non-opaque. The see-through item ducts do it. Drawers are like that. See, like this drawer here for rendering. Most industrial foregoing machines take some frames. And it looks like Mechanism does. And that's more conduits. Chests do, but like crates, like these crates or actually edition crates, they do not take your frames. Here you go. Here's a non-opaque item duct. If you do the opaque ones, they don't take any. Apparently, these guys are very bad, so I'm probably going to move them. But that shows you, if it has a number, it's using parts up. It's using more frames up, basically. So the more numbers you see around, the worse it'll be. The best solution for that is keep stuff spread out, far away, so you're not seeing everything at once. Or in our case, what we do is we started throwing stuff in compact machines, which is in this pack. Right here, make these compact machines. They're pretty simple, and you can hide stuff in there, which is the primary thing we do, because we have, what, 4 of them over here? 5? Fly over to our, what looks to be a planet. Well, that's right, I forgot to show you this. So, I hopped on yesterday, and Sec had built this, and I have no idea why there's another one over here. This is maybe just a glitch on my screen, but it looks like he's trying to build another one, or something. Or lining it up. I have no idea. No idea. So what we ended up doing was spending all day moving all our storage over here. I totally forgot to show this off. So here are our storage drawers. Down here is some of the applied energistic stuff. And then over here are the compact machines that we use. So there's the one I was just doing testing in. That's the mob farm one. This is the one for presses. Most immersive engineering machines, multi-blocks, they take frames per block. So hide them away. And here's the lava gen with some other stuff. It's crazy. What was I going to show you? I got distracted with frames. Yeah, so make these. If you want to set one up, you're going to need 4 of these field projectors. They're not, at least in this pack, they're not hard. That's the default recipe. We already have them though, so let's just grab iron and a couple redstone and fly way back over here. I think I showed this off already. But that's this setup. When you set these up, do 11 by 11. So this is on the 13th spot. In the middle, it's 11. And it's the 3rd one on the top. You cannot put stuff too close. If you put, say, a torch, I believe it's just 1 block closer. No, it's 2. Right here, it breaks it. So no torches in the middle. But the way these work is all the recipes are very similar. So if you try to craft them, it'll show you a picture of what you need to build. What you build can go anywhere inside the orange box. Just like that. So for a wall, it's a block of iron with a piece of redstone on top. This bottom right thing is what you throw in to activate it, and this top right thing is what you get. So we throw in a redstone, it'll shrink it, and we'll get walls. So you can do that to make these structures. If you hold shift, it'll show you the framework of it. This is basically just a 5x5x5 hollow block with a block of emerald in the middle. And this one's the same but diamond, and they just get smaller and smaller. So making the biggest one is very cheap. Throwing an ender pearl, it's a block of emerald. So I always suggest making the biggest one you can. Leaves you plenty of room. Anyways, that's about all I wanted to talk about. Let's actually let me think for a second. I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I'll just leave you with this. Basically, if you're playing on a server, then try to keep your footprint to a minimum, because you are affecting a ton of other people with what you do. Like, if I check the list now, we've got one single machine from one person running almost 2,000. The next closest is 300. So when everyone starts trying to maximize all their resources and stuff like that, it's going to hurt the server and it's going to hurt everyone else. So just try to keep your stuff reasonable, keep it in check, and yeah, so I'll leave it like that. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.